Hold on to your butts.
Heck yeah.
Let's see if it works.
This is when your computer just...
I mean, yeah, I'm streaming to two sources. That tends to absolutely demolish it. So it says it's streaming on TikTok. It is sending the data to YouTube, which is bad news.
I'm on
Well,
our
you're not
YouTube
live
channel
on
looking-
TikTok,
yeah.
according to TikTok.
It says there's a monitor for it. Hang on, let me check that. Whoa, don't pull that up on the stream. Don't do that. No.
This it wouldn't be
live on YouTube.
D&D stream
We
if
are up on YouTube.
Yep, we're live on YouTube.
Okay, good.
You are live on TikTok.
Let me shut.
Woo!
It's like showing my face on it, or not my face, but this thing on it. Just great. Hang on, I got to turn that off.
heck yeah.
How do I make this go away? Why did it pop up here of all places? It pulled up on the wrong one.
TikTok's showing the thing.
All right.
There we go. We are live on
Okay,
TikTok.
we are streaming on both. Now, I should be able to see chat soon as it kind of goes live, but we'll see.
Yay!
Yay! And I say we just kind of hang out for a minute as people trickle in. And chat, it says there's like 2 people watching us right now, which is probably us watching us.
Yeah, I'm on here.
Yeah, I'm on here.
So I say we just hang out for a minute and talk about what we were talking about, and then we'll do our intro and stuff in a little bit. So what in the world were we just talking about? Where even are we in this?
Good question. Because I didn't finish listening.
Where is
to our
anyone in this?
episode again.
I listened to the whole thing because I was like, I need to know what's happened.
Did anyone get anything D&D related for the holidays?
I did not.
I did.
I did not.
I got a set of liquid core dice that had like lizard eyes in it. It was very cool.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I also, I'll send you guys a picture of it. It looks, it sounds weird. It looks like a fidget spinner, but it's got the numbers for a D20, a D10, and a D8 on it. So when you spin it, it has different point markers, and where it lands, it will determine, like,
Oh, I've heard of this.
what
I've
you
seen
got.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
My dad got it for me. I was like, this is sick. So,
Yeah, it's-
and so am I. But yeah,
That was great.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
illness for Christmas. Woo!
Woo! All right,
It
cool.
wouldn't be Christmas if no
Right.
one got ill.
All right, it's only our second stream. I'm so tempted to test stuff, but I'm not going to do it, so it's fine. We will have all these transition things and everything else, but it's fine. I'm going to leave it. Okay, let's get started. Welcome to Punch and Roll for Initiative, a nerdy and dirty D&D podcast made up of audiobook narrators and intended for adults. So maybe headphones on for this one. Hi, I'm Ethan Gray. I'm your Dungeon Master, best known for audiobook narration and anime screams. And this is Aaron.
Hi, I'm Aaron Smith, and I am the narrator of your epic and dark fantasy stories, especially the Levanthria series.
Cleo. Do I have to call
Hello.
everybody's name?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
We're taking
Like
roll.
school.
I am Cleo Birch, also an audiobook narrator and voice actor, primarily in audio dramas, but I am currently working on 2 audiobooks, one being Whisper of Apple Blossoms and the other being Star Lost. Both will eventually be available on Audible and other places. And that is me.
Marie.
I'm Marie Mitchell. I'm a narrator that loves a good romantic comedy, but I dabble in all the genres. I'm also the voice of some upcoming webcomics that I hope I can talk about more in the upcoming weeks. But this is my first time playing D&D, and I'm still surprised I'm allowed to sit at the table. So, hi, everybody.
Rhodey.
Hey, I'm Rhodey. I'm a part-time voice actor, producer, and editor. And we've got a lot of stuff coming up in 2025, but nothing really to plug yet.
I thought you were about to say 2027 or something, and I was really excited for you to be like, 2 years, y'all, I'm going to be all... Would have been great.
I'll take this seriously soon, but I just got to take some time.
Look, it's hard, guys. Tegan.
So I am Tegan Burke, and I'm probably best known for playing Stacey Grant in the Perception series that many of us will be working on in the upcoming year. But I am also working on Lifespan of Starlight by Talia Kalkipsakis and Emerald of the Sea by Kimberly Pearl. And that's what I'm doing soon. So, yay.
Hey, Zach.
I'm Zach Rosenfeld. I'm a voice actor, narrator, and nerd. Well, those first two, at least when I don't have the flu. I have a particular fondness for sci-fi and fantasy. I have a few books on Audible under this name and one or two under another name, Will Rose, with more audiobooks and audio dramas to come.
Yay. All right. That
Yay!
will bring us to our world of Toa, which, if you look at the map, looks buck wild. And so I'm going to start us some music here as we lead in. I left us last time talking a little bit about, why don't I hear anything? Did it just say no?
It's
No,
on.
It's just a
I
little
can hear
quiet.
music.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hear.
Here,
Okay, I hear it now. I left us last time by saying that the well in the middle of this island in the middle of the map has deepened, and it is creating some kind of, like, it seems like it may be more powerful, which may have its own ramifications for the world around us. We left off at the end of a round, which means Aaron gets to go first. As a reminder, we are playing a game called The Quiet Year. We are playing a game called The Quiet Year, and it is a game where each of us will be creating the world around us. We are not playing characters yet, but we will be playing characters in the world that we create together. So, as a part of this, we draw a card, we take an action based on the card, and then we get to choose one of 3 actions, which we will describe as we go. So, Aaron, start us off.
All right, drawing one card. And the card that I drew was the King of Diamonds.
All right, the King of Diamonds. The era is fleeting. Discard the top 2 cards off the top of the deck and take 2 actions. So if you will draw 2 additional cards, please.
So there's 2 actions that just won't happen.
Yeah, there are 2 cards that are just gone now. And you get to decide on 2 of the 3 actions. You get to do 2 of them instead of just 1 this round.
Which, for brevity and the sake of those that may not have been paying attention to the last one, the 3 actions are discover something new, start a discussion, or start a project, correct?
Correct. And whenever we discover something new, it can be literally anything in the entire world. It can even be ethereal. Holding a discussion is a community thing where each of us weigh in once, and a project is something we decide a certain amount of time around, which I don't believe we currently have. Oh, we do. We have 1 project active right now that has 3 turns left. So, yeah. What would you like to
Okay.
do?
So, we got a lot that's going on with this map.
So much.
So, I'm thinking for discovery, something that isn't land-based. Since we have some sea humanoids, some species of humanoids, we're going to add an alternative there and add some avian humanoids have been
Okay.
found amidst the large plateau of the gods mountain range.
All right.
So, avian humanoids.
Oh, it changed all my text. Why would it do that? That's very mean of it to do. Avian humanoids. Do you want to give them any other features, or do you just want to call them avian humanoids? You, of course, can do whatever you want. I'm just asking.
So we're going to start off with the avian humanoids still only having their legs and wings, not arms and wings and legs, just so that we know where they are.
Okay, got it.
More like
Avian
harpies,
humanoids
I
with
guess you could
only
say.
like harpies. Got it. Only legs and wings. What's there's like a diagram of dragons, and one of them only has wings and legs. I can't remember which one that is, but I don't know. if
And
you'll
then
see it.
everyone gets angry because that's a wyvern, not a dragon.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Drakes have no wings. Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna remember all that. It's fine.
I was gonna say I couldn't remember who has the 4 legs and who only has 2 legs when it comes to
Yeah.
the dragons.
And you get to take another action, Aaron, because you burned 2 cards.
Oh, yeah, I do. Okay. Then, we are going to start a project
All right.
to learn the magic and understand why the floating island floats where no other landmass does.
Okay. How long do you think it should take? How many turns?
So if I remember correctly, we don't have much power ourselves. There is a massive well of magic within this central island, within this space. So discovering this new, discovering the magic behind the floating island is going to be difficult for us and will take time. So I want to say 4 turns.
Okay. Works for me. And again, as a reminder, anytime a project is started, that's a community discussion around like how long it should take. If anyone disagrees, you can say like, I think it should be, and it's just kind of like whatever we communally agree, but I think 4 is great. Okay. Why does the island float? 4 turns. The unearthing part, this is impossible to read. Why is this like this? Unearthing the part of the jaw to determine the weaknesses counts down to 2. That was my project. That brings us to Cleo.
Hello, hello. All right, I shall draw a card. Just one. Draw. Oh, okay. Ace of Diamonds.
All right. The Ace of Diamonds, a group of the gods demand to be heard. Who are they and what do they want? A group of the gods have acted on their frustrations. What did they do?
Oh. Okay. So, just to put it in context, the deepening of the well is a fairly recent event, correct?
Yes. It happened like during this era that the well was discovered. We determined that arcane magic can be funneled out of it as a focal point. And in doing that, we realized the well was deepening.
I think maybe there is a group of more arrogant, maybe naive gods who see this deepening and this arcane well swelling as like an opportunity, and they want to take hold of it. They want to see its depth. And so I think after being shut down by the other gods about what they wanted to do, I think one day they send someone down into it to try and gather more information, to retrieve whatever it is. And I think the ending of that, whatever came of that, is to be determined. I think. But someone entered the arcane well. And maybe not by their own volition, but this group of gods made that happen and kind of went behind everyone's back to do so, to gain more power and information about this arcane well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I've added that to the
Excellent.
map. You also get to take one of 3 actions: make a discovery, start a project, or hold a discussion.
I think I will start a project.
All right.
I think there's an expedition that discovered the inverse imploded mountain. And coming upon this, they discovered that it's not even though it is going into the depth of the ocean, the ruins of the city itself are still intact. So they found an entryway into the old city that is still clung to the side of the mountain that isn't underwater completely, and they're able to maneuver down into it. And I think the project is to find out how far it goes and what they can discover in the remnant of this inverted city on a mountain. So it's an expedition diving down into the inverse mountain is my project.
How long do you think that should take?
I think since they're just going in to like take a look around and see how far they can get, we'll say 3 turns.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed. I think that's great. All right. The end of your turn, the unearth the beast jaw goes down to 1. The why does the island float project down to 3. And that brings us to where is my turn tracker, Marie.
All right.
You know what I could just do?
3 of diamonds.
I'd save myself the trouble. Can I do this? I don't have tokens. Sorry, I was trying to make my life easier. Realized I was about to make it harder, and so I stopped. The 3 of diamonds. Food is running short. What do the gods do? There is a new threat. What is it? Start a project related to protecting the gods.
Huh. Like any food, all food, food for everybody.
I'm assuming it's the. I mean, again, this is kind of our own. Like we're making this up, but
Yeah.
the gods are immortal, so the assumption that they need food is maybe more of a comfort than it is a necessity. But they food. I'm assuming for the community, the primary community, the gods that are trapped here, is running short. Or
Gotcha.
there's a new threat.
We don't. That I know of. I mean, we have a food shortage, but we don't technically have livestock unless our snow people are like herding some snow cows.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
And I kind of feel like fishing is questionable when we created fish people. Although I still kind of want to do it, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of a livestock. I don't know how you guys come up with stuff so quickly off at the top of your heads, and I would like that skill in general. If somebody could have gifted that to me for Christmas.
When you're a professional BS artist, it's easy.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what was the thing besides food? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. It is either food is running short or there is a new threat. What is it? Start a project related to protecting the gods. And as a
the gods.
reminder, if you decide to do that, you have to start that project and then also take another action.
You know what? I want some frost-covered herd beasts. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want some woolly mammoth-like beasts with like the big horns and stuff like that, and our snow people herd them. And I guess hopefully there's enough of them to help fix this food situation.
Okay. Gods hope to eat them.
You can milk them too. I'm just saying. Herd beast milk.
Herd-based milk. Miscellaneous herd-based milk.
So one of your best
to
sellers,
everyone,
even.
they were just platypus.
They're just giant cat. No, it's.
Maybe they are. It always comes back to the brat cat god.
All cats. It's all cats all the way down. Okay,
I love the fact we don't actually have cat people yet.
I mean, they exist somewhere, right? They're just not here yet. That is your card. You still have an action. You can either do the discovery, discussion, or project. While you're thinking of that, people are still talking about dragons and how many like limbs they have in the chat.
Oh yeah,
I knew that wyvern comment and
dead
dragon thing was going to
call
set
on
something.
I personally like just going. It was so cool until Marie suggested milking them.
Terrible. All right.
Actually, so let's open it for discussion on what else the herd beasts could be used for.
I think the chat would like you to move the map down, Ethan, just a little bit.
Oh my god. Where I can move it up and down. What do you want me to do?
They want it to move down.
Yeah, you need to go down.
They
quite a
just
bit,
tried to
actually.
move their map with their finger, and it doesn't work like
Oh my
that.
god. Okay, you should be able to see it. It's like I can see the screen.
Yes,
so you
it's
should
centered
be able to
now.
see- Okay, all right.
It's centered now.
Stop it. I'm sorry. I've been wiggling it the whole time.
There you go.
All right. I've been wiggling it the whole time. Is my
Can you
new-
make it slightly bigger? Apparently.
I can.
Well,
but
if he
then you
does,
can't see the
it'll
whole
get
thing.
cut off again. Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all
Yeah.
okay with this? Is this what you want, chat? Since apparently the
I
true
guess,
God is
like,
never
if
the
we're talking
I'm
about
DM.
a
not
section of the map,
entertained.
to
It is,
maybe
in
zoom
fact,
into
the-
that section.
Rhodey. I'm putting it on
thinking
69
production quality,
zoom, and there will
Nino.
be no complaints.
Hey. Nice.
It is
you
perfectly
hold
centered
down
at 69.
Alt-
Everyone chill.
If you
Um,
hold Alt and scroll
completely
up
coincidental.
over the map, it will actually scroll in and out.
Sorcery.
so
Sorcery.
that's a wrap on
Sorcery is
Tegan,
this.
everybody. Just let,
It's been good.
It was a good run.
I don't have that kind of power. All right. Marie, you technically start the discussion, so whoever you would like to represent in the community can go ahead and speak.
I think the snow people could also use the, I'm really good at the words tonight, guys. Use the herd beasts to like hook up to carts potentially.
Okay.
And that's my big idea.
Technically, next is Rhodey.
I mean, could they possibly be natural predators to the fishmen? Or maybe have some kind of ability to fend off the sea beast?
Ooh.
Tegan.
You said they have a lot of horns and stuff, so.
They're clearly fighting something or defending themselves from something.
All right. Zach?
Carts are the least of our worries. The snow is melting. Shouldn't we do something about that first?
I think you guys aren't considering the next option, which is fucking the beast. We got some cool fishmen now, and we could make cool woolly men. And you're not considering that woolly willies could be everywhere.
Oh my god.
Aaron, your turn.
Hooey, well, not quite on those lines. I reckon we can use them for sport. Strap ourselves to the back of them, ride them around for a couple seconds, or even make them fight. That'll be fun.
Cleo.
I'll be frank, I don't see a difference between what you said and what he said. You're riding them around, you might have the same outcome both times.
Marie, you get to finish us out.
We've got by air and we've got by sea, so I guess by land for another species is a great idea.
Why do we keep banging animals? That is the end of that turn. It brings us to Rhodey.
Oh, great. I get to go right after that. That's awesome. All right,
I didn't have to turn into a theme song. I'm sorry.
Of course. It's not letting me use the deck.
I can bring it out, I think, if you want me to. Oh, is it empty? Hang on.
I think it's empty.
We did it. The second era comes to an end. Oh, I got to count down. I got to count down projects. Hang on.
Dun, dun,
Before we do that, the project to unearth the part of the jaw to determine its weakness or value ends. Before I say what happens.
Before that happens, sorry to interject.
No, please.
Considering that some of the options are either adding weeks to projects or projects failing, should a card be drawn first before projects end?
I think technically it, if I remember correctly, I think it counts down at the end of a turn. Each project counts down, and then you determine, and then it can like fuck things up.
Oh, okay. Then I apologize and retract
No.
my statement.
No, you're fine. I think this was mine, right? Nobody else is claiming the unearth part of the jaw determined. I think that was me. Okay. My memory is garbage. The bottom part of the jaw is only partially unearthed. The arcanists who go to study it bring along, gods who have like an affiliation or affection for mining, and they're able to pull some of it out. And what they discover is that the teeth of these things are incredibly hard, so much so that it functions similarly to like adamantine, and could potentially be used for armors or weapons or all kinds of things if they can determine how to mine it correctly, but it's also terrifying in the sense that like that means their teeth are incredibly dangerously strong and difficult to withstand, and they could potentially bite in half very large areas, surfaces, all kinds of things. And so they find no weaknesses, but they discover that the material itself could supplant for adamantine-like material. And with that in mind, I have to get our other deck. Hang on. New deck.
The clubs.
Where are decks? I've
New deck?
forgotten. There it is. The third era. There is also something that will happen at the end of the second era. So hang on 1 second. Hide that. Stop reading the chat.
No, I put that. It's my fault. It's in the private chat.
I'm kidding.
I apologize.
No, it's fine. It was funny.
At the end of the second era, the gods who have been gathered around the focal point of the well realize that not only is it deepening, it seems to have become unending. So I'll actually say the person who went in to discover the depth of the arcane well is able to create some form of effect, and it seems like the well continues on forever. It does not seem to end. It is almost as if a hole has been punched in the middle of the plane. And at the end of the second era, the gods discover that that arcane well in the middle of the world is unending. And that begins the third era. Rhodey, you're up.
Nice. Works this time. It does not.
It doesn't?
It's saying still there's no cards.
Hang on. Try now.
All right, let's try now.
It wasn't shuffled, which is my fault.
There we
I have
go.
also done the thing where I've accidentally got like scrolled up a tiny bit and everybody's going to be mad again.
I got the ace of clubs.
All right. One thing I want to point out as we continue on is that as each era goes on, the hardships become harder. So the questions you're going to be asked are going to be more difficult, maybe more bleak, in general worse. Things will get tougher as we go along. In fact, it is so much so that in the final era, if somebody pulls the king of spades, the entire game ends, even if it's the first turn. So if on the very first turn someone pulls the king of spades, we're done, and that ends the entire era. So you said you pulled the ace?
I did.
Okay. The community becomes obsessed with a single project. Which one and why? Whenever you decide which one and why, you can choose one of these effects. You add 3 weeks to the project, and all other projects fail. If there are no projects, the community becomes obsessed with a grandiose project. Hold a discussion about this vision in addition to your regular action. We do have a couple of projects, so you get to decide which one adds 3 weeks and which one fails.
I guess I'm gonna go with the inverse mountain gains 3 weeks, which I guess then means the island floating fails. The investigation on the floating island fails.
Okay. You have to say why as well.
Why it failed?
Why they became obsessed with a single project.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna say since it's a entryway to a grand city, that does it have to be all the gods? Can I kind of parse it off a little bit? Okay.
Yeah, it's up to you.
So I'm gonna say there's a group of gods who aren't interested in our little Mount Olympus over there, and see this as a potential underground kingdom that they can possibly develop and consume.
Okay. Love that. All right. At the end of your turn, I believe since this isn't your project, it will still count down. So that brings it down to 4.
Okay.
Oh, it's not the end of your turn because that was just your card. So sorry. What was your action as well?
I want to discover something. I was trying to think about stuff that would help us later down the road. But I think it would be interesting if we found a community of angelic-like creatures on the floating island that are on the floating island because they are very self-secluding. Is that the right word? Yeah, they're not very social externally. They're only worried about their little community. And so with that, I think they would be very defensive and combative if people tried to visit.
Okay. Now, just for my own like mental image here, when you say angelic, do you mean like biblically accurate angelic, or do you mean like
Asthma.
Well,
Yeah,
I was
eczema.
thinking more like elves. Originally, I was thinking more like an elf-like creature with wings because they can fly around on the island. And then I realized it's basically angels. So it's like, yeah. But that's kind of what I was thinking. I
Okay.
guess biblically accurate is that it'd be like beautiful
The rings and
humanoids with wings.
Okay. The biblically accurate would be terrifying rings spinning around with eyes and a million wings. So that
Okay.
is like seraphim is what we're more talking
So
about.
winged elves, more like winged elves as opposed to asthma, or
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
okay.
Sounds
Yeah, not cherubim.
Got
My harpy people are not going to like your winged elf.
it.
I like it. We got the Sky Wars going.
I love that for us. They're gonna
So
fight right over the
fairy.
top of the hollow steampunk mountain.
Just have dead like elf and harpies fall from the sky. No one knows what's going on.
Where
It's
are
just
all these
completely their
feathers
own
coming
thing.
from?
I like it.
That would count down the project, but I already did that, so that brings us to Tegan.
Okay, so I have to pick a card first.
Mm-hmm.
Learn from my mistakes last week. Read it out loud. I got the Queen of Clubs.
Okay. Do you?
So, disease spreads through the gods. Choose one. Oh God, it's not COVID all over again. Choose one. You spend a week quarantining. Project dice are not reduced this week. Or 2, nobody knows what to do. Health and fertility become a scarcity. I'm going to go with 2. No one knows what to do, and health and fertility become a scarcity.
So many.
Not our
scarcity.
fertility.
The birds and
Someone
the
has to
fish
rein you guys in.
finally caught up to us.
God, it is.
Yeah, we deserve it.
And we got it from the Fish VD and the what was the other one? The Willy
Bird
Willies.
people.
We call
The
it the
Willy
Willy
Willies.
Willies.
Oh dear.
Oh no!
Um,
There's so many scarcities.
We've still got time, right? Time of hardship
Yeah,
and all
sure,
that
it's fine.
jazz. However, in amongst all of that, I would also like to make a discovery up in our crystal mountain up in the top here.
Mm-hmm.
That as they have been digging and refining the ore, they open into a cavern and discover a race of dwarven-like individuals, but they do not just appear to have been born of the stone. They are also made of the minerals and gemstones as well. So we see a wide variety of individuals that seem to resonate with the stones themselves.
Ooh.
And that kind of influences. Some of them might have intrinsic abilities that the stones resonate with them, that give them certain magical abilities or physical attributes, depending on what their kind of base mineral is. So if they seem to be like an obsidian dwarf or an emerald dwarf or something like that. So, and that obviously changes their physicality as well. So in terms of that, they look beautiful, like a tumble of gemstones.
I like that. Okay. That was your 2 things. Our project counts down to 3, and that brings us to Zach.
Okay. Drew the 8 of clubs. Someone sabotages a project and the project fails. Who did this? Why? Or someone is caught trying to sabotage the gods. How does the community respond? Let me remind myself what our projects are real quick.
We only have
we
the
only have
one
one.
because of the failed card that he drew. It's the exploring the entryway to the Grand City in the Inverse Mountain with the intent of, because of another addition to that, there is a hope to create some kind of a haven for the gods in there.
Right. Okay. Let's say that somebody was caught trying to sabotage the gods instead. I think that these whoever it was that discovered these or made first contact with these angelic elf beings drew their ire, and now they are attempting to sabotage the gods. How specific do I have to be about
You could say whatever you want.
how they're doing it? I don't necessarily have to. Okay, so that's who and why. I think that they are they everywhere that we're, and we only have one like actual project, but everywhere that we're doing things, they're like flying by and like just being a general nuisance.
We do have flying vehicles as well.
You do.
Yeah.
You forgot.
Oh,
That
right.
function
We have
by,
airships.
like,
Oh yeah, they're
resonance.
probably attacking our airships, specifically. Oh, I don't know. It's the other one where I have to talk about how the community responds. I was going to say how we respond, but I don't. That's what's happening. They're attacking our airships. And I'm gonna hold a discussion for my action. The god of generalized anxiety disorder is like, Jesus Christ, guys, our world is fucked, and the mortals aren't even here yet. We've got scarcities. The snow is melting. The fucking elf things are attacking us. What are we gonna do? We have to get the world ready for mortals.
I hate that I have to go next. I think we're going to be fine, all right? Don't worry about these silly mortal creatures. We can simply wait them out, right? Maybe we don't have our powers, but we're still immortal. Things have not gone our way, but we can access arcane power, we can fly. We will... the fish VD is taking its term, but we'll be fine. It's fine. We'll be all right. Aaron, that makes it your turn.
We've got plenty of time. Let's just see if they all die out. Anything could happen.
Cleo.
The god of like nihilism is just like, I think we're all just gonna die soon anyway. I mean, I've already got the fish thing. I'm gonna go fuck around with the other flying things, and I'm gonna see if I can make something better out of the both of them. But the fear beasts are crawling up our asses as well, so I'm not that worried because I don't think this is gonna end well at all for anybody.
Marie.
As a god of optimism and perhaps strategy, maybe what we should look at is let's introduce the mortals gradually, potentially. Let's allow us to monitor the situation and see how they adapt to the challenges we've created and potentially caused.
Rhodey.
I think the god of, let's see, tunnels.
Tunnels.
the god of
Don't change it.
dwarves, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is very. Let's see. I think as long as we stay underground, like we should be, there's nothing to worry about.
Okay. Deegan.
The god of devotion just kind of looks at you all. Have you all forgotten that we're gods? Perhaps, maybe, we remind them that it is through their devotion to us that we give them goodwill and luck and prosperity. Teach them that we should be revered. I'm not going to say the cult word, but maybe we should start a cult.
And Zach, you get to close this out.
Great googly moogly, I forgot about the fear beasts. How are you all so blasé about this? Just try to promise me something about something.
I really appreciate, Zach, that you're using your sickness to your advantage. Your voice character is now just has anxiety.
You're
That's
welcome
really
for that.
Explore the mountain counts down to 2. And that brings it to my turn. And I have the Joker, which isn't a real card. Goodbye, Joker. And I got the 2. Why do
Get
I roll
out of
this
here,
instead?
Joker.
Silly
Society.
Joker. This isn't Balatro.
Why
Get
so
the fuck out of here. I probably have already made the Balatro joke. It's fine. The 2. Someone returns to the community. Who and why? Someone finds a body. Do people recognize it? What happened? Oh boy.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
The god of anxiety. Oh no, maybe he was right.
We just turned Inside Out into gods.
Just honestly how it should be.
Yeah, it really should. We haven't had a lot of people leave the community, but there's one that is beloved and I do want to bring back. And it's Brat God Cat God. Brat God Cat God has been fragmented throughout the universe. And something about the welling, the well in the middle of the world, or some releasing of power, something has given the Brat God Cat God the ability to communicate through the stray cats. And sometimes they do a really terrifying thing where all of them climb on top of each other to form a face and talk, and it's just the worst thing you could possibly imagine. All these cats moving.
It's worse
like
when
a
they're hairless.
swarm.
Like,
Stray cat swarms randomly communicating with other gods. And he seems to be trying, the reason he's back is he's trying to explain the rift, the hole in the middle of the world to whoever will listen, and no one wants to, because who wants to talk to a big pile of cats? And that was my card.
Dear God.
and now imagine they're all hairless and it just looks like a talking ball sack.
So many of them.
Like he
Just
thinks he's
piled on
communicating
top of each
clearly, but everyone else just sees like just a whole bunch of cats meowing, like mewling and squeaking.
It's only the gods who can speak to animals that are like, we get it, Brat God, Cat God, stop. Please, you're terrifying everyone. I'm going to say...
Calling about your extended warranty.
We have so many scarcities now. I'm gonna say that there's a project, as the gods of all the things that have interest in, for some reason, sowing their seed throughout this land, would like to have their fertility back. They begin to hunt for a remedy, and I'm gonna say they do it in the beautiful garden. That they are going to try to seek out a... God, what the fuck is happening? Seek a resolution to the fertility crisis. And I'm going to say it takes, I think, 4 turns. Well, I scrolled up. 4 turns? Getting the ability to make more babies again seems like something that would take a while. I regret like the last 90 things I've said. Sorry, what?
Nothing, sorry.
All right, that is the end of my turn. That counts down the inverse mountain. And Aaron, it is your turn.
All right, drawing 1 card. All right, and that card is the 5 of clubs. What do I win?
Several gods form a new cult. What is it?
Yes!
And what are its
Yo!
practices? Or
Wow.
several gods leave to join an enemy. Why do they do this?
Ooh,
I know they're both good.
they are good. Especially, well, there's been a lot that's happened around. A couple of things that people have said, which I like. We're going to say that the rumors that we heard about about a group of gods wanting to set up a anti-Olympus, essentially, an opposite to the plateau for the gods, does come true, and we are able to spot a division there where a lot of more evil gods are now more open about their attitudes. So, as we start discussing, hopefully we can have more evil-leaning individuals in our discussions, not just horny gods.
He says like he didn't create the god of voyeurism.
Okay, what else? What would you like your action to be?
So, we're going to discover that the air and the atmosphere in this world has gotten a bit thicker and heavier, meaning that skin has to evolve to compensate, reducing the effectiveness of bludgeoning damage, whilst also subsequently meaning more people are furry.
Trying to tamp down the horniness and creating furries.
The same thing.
Oh my god. It is just the best thing.
I am equal opportunist here.
All right. After Aaron, that counts down both of our projects. So the explore the entry at the Grand City in the Inverse Mountain, which is turned into kind of both a venture to have an underground haven for the gods and also kind of a cult for evil gods, finishes. So Cleo, I believe that was you.
Yes.
What happens?
All right. So whether this is considered a failure or a success depends on your perspective. I think mechanically, the investigators, the explorers, were able to get fairly deep into the mountain and delve levels down into it and discover different sections of the grand old city that once was all very dark and dank because there's no sun or air getting in because it's underwater, until one day their progress ground to a halt when they discovered entities that seemed to have come from the god below.
Ooh.
Like, re-listening to the episode, we've only been touching on the pyramid scheme from the god above, and so these are entities that we never knew existed that are sourced from the god below, almost the antimatter of gods and their essence coming up. So half of this has been opened and discovered, but there is a dire threat about halfway down that has stopped the continuation of this. So if they would like to use it as their sanctum, it's got to be in the upper half, or they have to, face the enemy at their new doorstep, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. I love that. All right. And it is, in fact, also your turn.
All right. Okay, I shall draw a card. One. Oh, okay. It used to pop up. Now it doesn't. The Four of Clubs.
That is the strongest god dies. Why? The weakest god dies. Why? And who is to blame?
Interesting. I think it's got to be the strongest, right?
Okay.
I don't want to be self-referential, but like the discovery of does the undergod have a name, or is he just the bottom? Like, what's Ethan, can you clarify?
Wait, I'm so sorry. The undergod? What do you mean?
I don't think we've named any of like the like death gods, etc., etc. We haven't named any of them, I think.
So if you mean the lore of this world, again, is super loose intentionally. The only real mythology that you guys know about is that there is the one above, who is named Toa, which they have, lovingly named this new plane of existence. The one below is the name of the other god that originally existed, but most of the gods don't have any real, passing thought or knowledge of the one below, because he has no impact on their life and never has. They have all kind of pyramid schemed, as someone put it earlier, off of the one above. And, clearly the one below exists, but it's kind of like a mythology type thing. There are the 6 original gods, which I can give you their names if you want to kill one of them. That's perfectly fine. That will not be the first time that's happened to me. And there are also 12 additional gods. So strongest is kind of how you imply it. You could say the one above dies. That god is currently, as far as you're aware, not here, but that doesn't mean that they can't be here and then die.
Okay.
It could be one of the 6. It could be literally whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, no, I was trying to get more detail on the one below. So we'll say that maybe this is a champion of the one below that confronts our strongest god at the one of the bottom levels of this inverse mountain.
Okay.
And they face off in this glorious battle, and the champion of the one below is victorious and essentially sends the head of the strongest god back with the adventurers to send a message. And establish that the one below is here and will be having an impact now.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay, and then I have to do one of the other 3. Okay.
You're fine. I was actually writing notes because I'm trying to think of who the strongest god is going to be, because I have to give them a name and stuff now.
That's fair. Would it be weird to start a discussion to figure out who that was?
No, I think that's perfectly fine. If you guys want some lore stuff too, I can give you some of their names and who they kind of roughly are. But you can make this up, right? It's up to you guys, and I'll leave that decision up to you, Cleo. Would you rather have some names, or would you rather just wholesale invent it?
I would almost like to have a discussion as players of what do we think the most powerful god is.
This is going to be a Mightiest Avenger scenario.
Yeah. Squirrel Girl.
I mean, there's an argument for that.
That's what I'm saying. So as players, what do we think is the most valuable thing to be worshipped, and have we seen it yet, or should we make it up?
Okay. The next person in this kind of meta conversation would be Marie.
So just to clarify, the conversation is who the god actually is, or that we're making up the gods?
Cleo?
I think we're just establishing who is the most who perished on this day. Who are we impacted by? Who are we saying was the most powerful in our setting?
I think the god that would have been the most powerful was the god of fertility, but we know that's going downhill, so that makes sense that was the one that died to me.
Okay. Rody?
Which?
Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry, Freddie. Go. No, it's Freddie's turn. Go.
Yeah,
I mean,
weird
I
turn
will
order.
say we have kind of canonically mentioned, and this is going to stir the pot. I think the chat will reveal that I'm probably accurate, but what was it? The brat god, cat god has kind of been established as possibly the most powerful god.
What?
So, we mentioned when we were talking about the god of stray cats that that could actually probably be really super powered. It was in our discussion. So I know that chat's gonna get really pissy if I mention that might be the one that died, but it did kind of come up at one point. So
Okay. Tegan?
I'm going to kind of second what Marie said, in the fact that it would make sense that Lyra probably actually had a sister, because she's been established as a animal nature god. So therefore a god of plant fertility. It's either a god of plant or water though, because those are kind of substantial things necessary for life.
Okay. Zach?
I think like a god of magic. I mean, we've seen the effects. Like the gods themselves were stripped of their magic. We have a magical well that is potentially unending. I think magic is very baked into the fabric of this reality.
Okay. I am tempted in two directions, and since we're kind of like narratively saying this, I'm going to say both. I like the idea that Lyra had a person who was her sister, and it was maybe Toa in disguise, the actual first god, who died impersonating a goddess of some sort of a creation. Fertility, yeah. Basically, like robbing all of the gods of their ability to have, a line of in the future. But I do really like the idea.
Zeus is mad at you somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where I'm leaning. I like the idea that like it was secretly Toa who was hiding out as pretending to be Lyra's sister, and then passed away.
It's got big side effects.
Yeah.
Well, that means no demigods after this point.
Yeah, it would mean effectively the only demigods who would be possible would be the ones prior to this.
Not that our gods seemed interested in doing each other anyway.
Aaron, technically it's your comment, and then I think Cleo closes us.
I mean, they've all been pretty good, I have to say. I would just add to that. It's unclear what makes our gods the most powerful versus others within this world. So, when the most powerful god does die, probably should be someone who was greatly loved, adored, and supported by the other gods, so that it is a huge hit when they do.
Okay, and Cleo.
Awesome. These have all been such great ideas. I think I really like the implications of Toa being the one that was killed. And I think maybe tying in what Aaron said of like, are we doing Lyra or Lyra? Let's just clear it up.
We can't say
I think
Lyra,
it was Lyra.
because we all know
Lyra.
someone named Lyra, so we absolutely can't do that.
Lyra.
Yeah, I believe it was Lyra from the first session.
Yes, Lyra.
All right. Lyra's sibling, like Toa pretending to be Lyra's sibling, like I think the community would have loved the god of fertility as she was, but having it also be Toa is so impactful, and maybe it was only revealed once the killing blow was struck, and the gods then realized that they've lost both of these entities that happen to be the same person that they both loved individually. And it's a major hit to the morale in the community.
Okay.
Yeah. Damn.
I have to rewrite a lot of things. No, I'm kidding.
I'm so sorry.
That takes that meta narrative off the table. All right, there we go. No, no, it's fine. I don't write anything until we're done with this, because the last time I played something like this, they killed. I had one of the primary deities I was going to have like be a major linchpin in the entire story, and they killed him during the setup. And so I was like, well, so I've never written anything until after, since I've done this. That brings us to Marie.
I drew it, but I didn't see it this time.
You got a 10.
You got a 10.
Ooh.
Which is harvest. Wait. Yes. Harvest is here and plentiful, add an abundance, or the cold weather drives back an enemy. Remove a threatening force from the map. It was so positive, I got confused for a second. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is a good thing. That never happened.
You were just talking about scarcity too. I'm like, oh wow, there we go.
I'm gonna take harvest is here and add an abundance.
All right, what do you want to add?
Like add a food, or you mean my action?
Whatever abundance you want to add. What is being harvested? And again, it doesn't have to be food. It can be literally anything.
Oh, I thought since it was harvest, it had to be like related to that. Okay.
I mean, you can leave it pretty open for yourself.
can we just say food in general? So like the scarcity of food is over?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. And then forward action, I haven't done a project yet. I'm kind of scaring myself, but I want to do a project to look into or start to decipher the signs and patterns of these stray cats that we're seeing.
Okay. I have no idea at this point where to put any projects. I'm going to put it in the bottom right. I'm also realizing I didn't count down the seek the resolution of the fertility crisis. I'll come back to that. Okay. You want to... Can you repeat what you want to do? I'm so sorry.
I want a project to look into or learn to decipher the signs and patterns of the stray cats so we can maybe interpret their behavior.
Cats. How long do you think that should take?
3.
3. I think that's fair. Okay. I didn't count down this last time, so that brings this
should be
down
1.
technically to 1. Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't see any other projects except for this one, which won't count down this turn. So that brings us to Rhodey.
Ethan, we're at our hour point. Did we want to take a little break?
Yeah, that's a good point. Everyone, we are going to try, because we're going to stream for 2 hours, the intent is to take a 5 to 10 minute break right in the middle here. So we are going to step away for a few minutes, get drinks, take a restroom break or whatever, and we encourage you to do the same. So please join us again in a few minutes. We will see you then, and we're excited to continue playing. All right, guys, everybody take 5. So I can still hear you. You guys should all still be able to hear me. They can't hear us anymore. Just FYI. I'm so scared. I'm going to tell y'all, anyone who's still here and doesn't need a break. What? Are you sure who's saying that? Oh. Oh, it's just me. Sorry, y'all can only hear me. You can't hear anybody else anymore. I'm going away. Goodbye.
Ba-da-ba.
I was told multiple times that people could hear us. How dare you? I'm going to go back to the break scene and fix it at some point. Okay. That brings us back to whose turn were we on?
I think we
Mine.
were.
Roadies.
About to be
Yeah.
road.
Brody, you're up, buddy.
That's right. All right, let's see. What'd I get? It didn't show me.
All my Googles now.
6. I got 6.
You got a 6 of clubs. Introduce a dark mystery among the members of the community, or conflict flares up. Conflict. You think I read for a living? Conflict flares up among the gods, and a project fails.
I just
Which of the
remembered
two?
what Rhodey said. What we were gonna do. Perfect.
I'm gonna turn music.
Sorry, I'm debating. Let's see. Introduce a dark mystery among the members of the community. Conflict flares up among the gods. I like the conflict flares up, but I don't want to ruin another project.
Buddy,
I'm just really-
it's okay. We're getting into. It's gonna
No,
be
I
dark,
know, but
dark times soon.
I like these things. So let's see. All right. A dark mystery among the members of the community. I'm being an idiot. I can't think of anything clever. So
We've established precedent. If you would like to have time, we can skip and come back.
yeah, but I'm I'm trying to think of what we've established so far that I would like to play into. The dark mystery would be the gods just killed Toa.
Ooh.
The dark mystery is going to be, was the killing actually plotted out by another god for power? And why would that god, or what effects are going to come from the death of Toa? Were they intentional?
Okay. What would you
That's
like your
gonna be-
action
yeah.
to be?
My action will be, I've never done this, but I think I'm going to start a discussion
Okay.
based on what I just did as the gods, and as the god of stirring the pot. I will start with, so pretty sure it was one of the big guys that tried to take Toa's spot, right?
Okay. Tegan.
Asia, the goddess of whispers. I don't know about that. Come on. It's obvious Lyra was getting jealous.
Okay. Zach.
Oh, what does it matter? The big six always have all the power. Who cares which one killed Toa and took his power? It doesn't matter to us.
I don't know what we're going to do. Toa was the goddess who created all of us, and as you have seen when other powerful gods have died, each down their line has suffered. She created us all. Aaron?
I don't know who could have done this. I think it could have been one of us.
Cleo?
I don't know, guys. I've been seeing the cats doing some really weird stuff, and it's really freaking me out. And I think they may have had something to do with it. I don't trust them.
Marie?
As the god of ambivalence, who cares? It's all above my pay grade.
And Trody?
Well, I think it'll be fun to see what's gonna come next.
Okay. That is the end of your turn. That counts down the look into how to understand the stray cats to 2. Seeking a resolution to end the fertility crisis completes, which was mine. I am going to say that the gods who were exploring the beautiful magical garden with the intent of trying to find a way to end the fertility crisis end up discovering something almost more disturbing, in the sense that they are not able to have children anymore. They can't seem to create offspring, but they can, in some strange way, separate. If they eat of this like fruit, they're able to separate off an aspect of their divinity, a part that they controlled, as if how they used to be able to do. And so if they consume this fruit, it creates a sort of clone of them that has only one of their aspects. So if they're a god of multiple aspects, then they are able to separate off one and then have a minor god that is like themselves. That was Rhodey's turn. Brings us to Tegan.
Okay. Drawing a card. What did I get? What did I get?
Mini close.
I got the Jack.
Okay, the Jack. Do you want to read it?
I think we've only got one first, don't we?
We do. We only have one.
So we look into and understand. We start to understand the stray cats, apparently.
The card is a project finishes early, which one and why. If there are no projects, blah, 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 but we have a project.
The reason it finishes early is obviously the god of conspiracies was very, very concerned after the death of Toa and decided to devote all their time into just chasing around after cats, yelling at them, "But what do you mean?" But you can, I obviously, Cleo gets to decide how that all comes to pass and what it means.
Before we take your action, just so we can like wrap that up, Cleo,
Yeah.
can you tell us how the project ends?
Sorry, I don't think I started the cat
Oh,
one.
did you not?
I don't think that was me.
That was me.
There we go.
Sorry.
I was like, wait a minute.
Here we go.
I was confused for a second, like, does it not have to be
Sorry.
me who decides? Because
Sorry.
that is fantastic.
That's my fault. That's my fault.
Sorry, Marie.
So, I think after, clearly this god is one way, but, otherwise, observation, research, analysis of the cat's behaviors, it reveals that the cat's actions are not random, very symbolic instead. So we look at their patterns and their movements and their sounds, and it turns out that the cats are acting as messengers, which we know, but we don't necessarily know which god has not. We do not know necessarily that it is Brat Cat. I'm sorry. Oh god, that's like blasphemy right there. Brat God, Cat God. But that we understand that the cat's movements are corresponding to the well's deepening. The closer the cats are to the well, the more agitated and unpredictable their behavior and messages become.
Okay.
And that's as far as we get.
Yeah.
And then Tegan, you get to take your action.
So this time around, I would like to kind of piggyback off of our research into the fertility crisis, the mini clones. And they also made a secondary discovery in this beautiful, magnificent garden, insofar as they realized that this was the death place of Toa, and where their blood had been spilled, it altered the plants. And stepping forth from the seeds of multiple plants came these tall, lithe, elven beings that they then set to protect this garden. But secondarily, the seed shells also split off, creating a smaller race of people, halflings, if you will. So they have similar backgrounds and roots, essentially.
I like that. This is going to be confusing, but I'm pointing at that island. It's so many words. I can't imagine somebody coming onto the stream right now and just being like, what the fuck?
I kind of
can't keep
imagine.
track of this stuff.
I kind of imagine that this to be like the origin story of wood and wild elves stepping from the plants, yada yada yada.
Nice.
Yeah. I told a friend one time that I used to read fantasy books and I would skip the prologue, and it feels, I imagine if somebody stepped in right now, they'd be like, oh, I skipped the prologue. Shit, what is this? What the fuck is happening? The good news is that once we start playing, you won't have to know any of this, because technically the players won't technically know any of this either.
Oh, that's
It's a
kind of
map
a
building
godsend.
game.
What
Isn't
happened
it?
to the dog god?
I saw that. Tegan and Zach. Oh, I got to count down. Oh, there are no projects, are there?
Nope.
No projects.
think we
All right.
finished all of them.
I'm also going to remove the scarcity of fertility. It's not technically solved, but they can clone. I'm going to take it off. I think it's fine. Zach, you're up.
All right. Hey, why does everybody have cards above their nameplate on Roll20 except for me? What's up with
Because
that?
when we do the draw,
It's an
it automatically
issue.
sends it over.
Yeah, if you click on draw, it'll pull it to you, and if you just click on it, it pops up like that.
Oh, I've just been clicking on the deck itself.
Me too.
All right, whatever.
Same.
9 of clubs. The community works tirelessly and a project finishes early, which we do not have. A group goes out to explore and find something previously missed. Okay.
Ooh.
Ha 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 ha. Let me see what parts of the map are least explored here.
Good luck.
Top left and top right are kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, it does kind of
Those.
feel like there's some room like over here and over here.
And like under all the
Yeah, technically
stuff.
all these scarcities technically are just,
They're just taking up space.
they're just taking up
over there,
space.
not-
I can make them smaller, I guess.
No worries. Okay, so what is it? Sorry. Exploring and find something previously missed. Okay. So perhaps this like mountain range here, that is kind of at the neck of what widens into a peninsula. Maybe there's some geographical feature here that is possibly even something sort of mystical that kind of shrouds this peninsula. And it might even be this whole peninsula that was like previously missed. But going, exploring beyond these mountains reveals a peninsula here, where let's do resources. We haven't done a whole lot with resources. They find an abundance here of an abundance of like I'm gonna do creatures again, but not creatures that we're gonna bang. Okay, guys, just trust me.
God bless.
So the in contrast with the whatever the herd beasts are, the woolly mammoths over there,
Yeah.
there's something in a sort of a more temperate location here. And they are a rare species that somehow is providing. You know what? Let's expand on this. My mind's going crazy over here. There's a secluded race over here of like humanoid beings, but they're not what's the interesting discovery. The interesting discovery is they have some kind of livestock here that provides them everything that they need for survival, like wool, food, like dairy, and meat. They are their like source of fertilizer for like growing all of their plants. Like literally every possible need for life that this secluded race over here has. They have this like miraculous livestock that anything they need, somehow this livestock provides it.
Okay. And I put this up here. I couldn't tell exactly where you were pointing. Are you saying it's up here?
Just saying, yeah, kind of maybe up near like the tip of this peninsula, just kind of the furthest reaches, somewhere that it would have been easy to miss.
Okay. You got it. And what would you like your action to be?
Oh, Christ, I have to do an action too.
No, I'm so sorry.
Right? Every time.
So we don't have any projects. Let's start a project. We've got a lot of stuff going on. I was thinking about a little while ago about the well situation, the magic well, because it's deepening and widening, and more weird shit is starting to come out of it. So I think somebody over there wants to start a project to, put a valve on that well, so not only can they kind of stymie its growth and spread, but they can then more easily tap it for the magic that is sort of our only source of magic at this point.
Okay. How long do you think that should take?
Let's call it 5 turns.
I called that cap tap the well. That's right here.
Tap that well.
Okay. That brings it to my turn, I believe. Oh, we have nothing to count down. And I've got to go. I got the 3. Where's my name? There I am. The 3 is managing 700 windows is fine. Someone leaves the community after receiving a dire prophecy. What was the warning? Who left? Someone receives a dire prophecy and the community leaps to answer. What is the warning? Start a contentious project that relates to the prophecy. Excuse me. Someone receives a dire prophecy that the community leaps to answer. What is the warning? Start a contentious project. I'm going to say that someone receives a warning that the races of this plane are going to replace us. That the gods who have come here and lost their power are beginning. One of the gods of prophecy says that this entire capturing this plane has made them all susceptible, and that whoever survives this planer's transfer, the convergence, once it ends, whoever is left here will be gods. And so they are now all. Many of them are concerned. Some of them are not concerned because it's contentious, but they are concerned that as a result, they will be replaced by these avian humans, the angelic elven people, the beautiful elves and the halflings, the gem-dwarves. They're beginning to fear all of them. And as a result, some of the gods start a project to isolate themselves on this island and basically hoard every resource they can in the middle of the map. Oh.
First off, how dare you?
And I'm going to say, feels like it should take forever, especially if they're fighting about it. I'm going to say 5 turns as well. So there's a project to tap the well at the same time that some of the gods are fighting, trying to isolate the resources.
I love that it's a cat tap.
I also get to take an action. I'm going to say, I'm going to say that we discover that some of the gods who have been living on the large plateau have become entirely inaccessible through both communication means and access. Trying to scale there, fly there, there is some sort of fog that surrounds the plateau where the gods have been living who enjoyed that height, and they are no longer accessible. And obstructs access. And that is my turn. So that counts down any projects we have. Cap tap the well goes down to 4. And that brings us back to Aaron.
All right.
Excuse me.
And my card is the King of Clubs.
The King of Clubs. A natural
Dun, dun,
disaster
dun.
strikes. What is it and where? You focus on safety, remove an abundance, and a project fails. You focus on protecting supplies. Several gods die as a result. Those are your options. So a natural disaster strikes. What is it and where? And then you have two options. Either you can focus on safety, removing an abundance, and a project failing, or you can focus on protecting supplies and several gods will die.
I'm gonna say, since a large portion of the gods have already begun hoarding all the resources for your project, they continue to do that. So the option of which I think was the second of the two options.
Yes, the focusing on protecting
but-
supplies and several gods die as a result.
So that results in a lot of gods dying.
Okay. Do you want to define what the natural disaster is?
Ooh. It's I'm unsure. I think we need a volcano.
Yeah.
We got so many mountains. We need a volcano to explode.
I have volcanoes somewhere in here. Hang on.
So we're talking the entire sky goes black for a couple of days because of the sheer amount of soot and ash in the air as a result of... And we'll put the volcano near the plateau for the gods.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's probably where some of the gods died.
Change the color of that. Okay. Got it. And what would you like your
And then
action? Sorry.
Yeah, my discovery is that within the cavern with the race of dwarven-like individuals, as they are gem-like, they resonate with the stones, they reflect a lot of light. It is natural that they are the ones that discover the first instances of shadow creatures. Dark entities that exist primarily within the underground areas, but thrive within the shadows.
Okay. All right, and that brings us to projects. Do we have any projects? Hoard all the resources goes down to 4. Tap the well goes down to 3, and that brings us to Cleo.
Alrighty.
God help me.
Oh, and I got 7 of clubs.
The 7 of clubs is a project just isn't working out as expected. Radically change the nature of this project, but don't change the die. When it resolves, instead of the person who originally created it, you will explain how it went. Or, a god somehow ruins an abundance. Change an abundance to a scarcity. Our current abundances are food and obsidian.
I think... Alright, I'll go for the second option.
Okay.
Can you read it out? Sorry, just one more time.
Yeah, a god somehow ruins an abundance. Change an abundance to a scarcity.
Yeah, we'll say that in the effort of hoarding all the resources, a god has gone out and has completely overconsumed, overfarmed, and gathered large quantities of food, and hope to bring back to the central island to hoard it. And during this expedition, the Harpy folk attacked, and the god, the airship they were in, and all of the food resource plummeted into the ocean and fed the giant sea beast.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. And what would you like your
Alrighty.
action to be?
So sorry. I would like to... I'd like to discover something, I think.
An abundance of food.
Yeah. We found out that the sea monster is actually celiac and all the wheat made it shit itself to death. Sorry. Terrible. Oh, God. Yeah, the sea beast is, sensitive. Anyway, let's see. I will say, on a very secluded portion of the map, an area that the gods just haven't bothered to check out. Maybe these little islands beneath the what do we call these? The plateau mountains.
Celestial
they're-
Stage, I think is what y'all called it.
Ooh, that's fancy.
I know, right?
Yeah, well down below in a secluded little shards of rocks, there is the wreckage of either a ship or a vessel that just doesn't align with anything else that's been built in this world. It seems to be metal, it seems to be sparking. It does not fit this setting. And it seems like the wreckage of some unidentified craft that no one has really stumbled upon yet. And it's just sitting there.
Okay. The New Jersey drones are over there. Got it. That will count down our hoard all the resources and tap the well to 2 and 3 respectively. Actually, it was the other way around, but it's fine. Marie, it's your turn.
God help you all.
Oh, you know what? It is
I was
out.
gonna say.
Yeah, it's
I was
out.
gonna say, I think we're done with this.
So we'll recall those. Now, here's the thing. If someone draws the king, we're done. That is how this works. So if in the final era someone draws the king of spades, the game ends. Let me shuffle this real quick. And go ahead. Oh, wait, I have to tell you what happens. Between the eras, there's an event at the end of the third era. The well deepening the concerns of the community, those strange prophecies around gods being replaced. Very suddenly, mortals arrive. From all across the plains, every type of mortal creature that has ever existed begins showing up in areas that the gods travel to. They find humans. They find devils, demons, Azamar. They find angels. They find any type of mortal or immortal, like demi-mortal creature that could have existed in any other plane. Elementals. They find them everywhere. And suddenly they're realizing that they seem to be coming from the other plane somehow. And alongside that discovery, while the gods have no power and can't use divinity, the gods realize that they can still give power to mortals. The gods discover that they are able to hand out a piece of their divine power to the mortals around them, strengthening those mortals as long as they want to offer that power to the mortals themselves. And that begins the fourth and final era. So, Marie, you get to start with that.
Christ, no stress. 3. I see a 3 at least this time.
There is a 3. Let's put that over there by you. The 3 of spades is someone comes up with a solution to a big problem. A project ends early. What was their idea? Or someone comes up with a plan to ensure safety and survival. Start a project related to it.
Huh. So the project ending thing is part of the first one.
Yes. So you can say, all you have to say if you want to select the first one is what was the idea they came up with that finished one of the 2 projects. We have the tap the well, and we have hoard all the resources for the gods. If you have someone who comes up with some kind of a solution to that, that's all you have to say, and then the other person would determine what actually happens.
Okay, and I'm sorry, the second one was to have a solution to safety and survival, or to create And to create a project based on it?
Yes, so someone comes up with a plan to ensure safety and survival. You don't have to determine what that is. You just have to start a project related to what that is.
Okay, so I'm thinking we'll do the second one then and create a project for making a safe haven that is for protection and sustenance for both gods and mortals, y'all hoarding bitches. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay, and where would you like to... Does it matter where it is, or do you... It's up to you.
Wherever you can find space, friend.
I'm just asking if you'd like to select a specific place. It's up to you. And you don't have to say now.
I did not have space in mind.
Okay, all right. How long do you think that
will
should take?
say, just so y'all know, just to give you a little more landmass, this part of the water is not water anymore. It's all
technically all of this is land.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do like having things near the shimmering rift, the shimmering slit, if you will. Let's put it over there.
Okay. How long do you think it should take?
4 turns?
4? Okay. All right.
I'm just guessing it turns there.
I mean, we're all just making up. It's whatever. What would you like your action to be?
Oh, I thought that was the action.
I know. I'm sorry. That was your card.
Or Ian. Oh my God, Ethan. Fuck my life. You know what? Let's do a discussion.
Okay.
For this safe haven, I want to know when it comes to the balance of food specifically, how, because they were hoarding the resources. All the food fell into the water, so they were hoarding food even though they were immortals. Them bastards. How should we protect a balance between gods and mortals in this safe haven?
Okay. Rhodey.
I was thinking about the fertile island that we have secluded off to the left there. Could be, instead of beast, maybe we have semi-hybrid plants from that island, where they're not as powerful as that, but they can, like, they're plants that can sustain through drought and through certain kind of weather conditions a lot better than other plants, maybe.
Tegan.
That seems like a good idea. Plant monsters instead of big monsters. That's a great idea. Yes, I love this. We'll go with that. Definitely.
Zach.
I am the god of neutrality. Put me in charge of the food, and I will ensure that it is distributed equitably.
Nice.
I believe we should farm the mortals. Since we can give them our powers, we can have them create food for us. We can have them create resources using our power, but they can't access it unless they do what we say. Aaron.
When you say farm the mortals, they are made of meat, right?
Cleo.
Well, I think,
fuck up.
I think we gotta make sure we're spreading the resources around. We can survive without much to eat, and like Scary One over there was saying, I think it's important to work with the mortals on this and create a symbiotic relationship, because if they get hungry and unhappy, we don't have a lot of our powers left, so and there's a lot more of them. So I think we keep them happy by keeping them fed, not on God's blood, but give enough power, they can sustain themselves, and endear them to us so they feed us as well.
Mm-hmm. Marie.
Some of y'all scare the shit out of me, first off. And because of that, to temper the suggestions of farming mortals, why not farm aquatic farming as part of our food system? Like, put those bipedal fish to work. And also, not farm the fish people, but have them farm for us. Christ.
Eating all the people now. Okay. Got to count down projects. Safe haven for the mortals and gods is new, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. 2 on Horde, 1 on Cap Tap. That brings us to Rhodey.
That's right.
What'd you get, buddy?
All right. Sorry. It just showed me. I got a 10.
10. In preparation for the In preparation for the future, the community begins a huge undertaking. Start a project that will take at least 5 weeks.
Cool. I was actually thinking about this kind of thing anyway. I will start a project up here.
Okay.
And it will be the largest city on the map. Like the largest kingdom on the map.
Okay.
It'll be designed with your fortifications and walls. It'll be made to basically be outside of the magic well, the one spot most people would want to go if they needed to feel safe.
Okay. And you get to take an action.
Funny because that was going to be my project. Let's see. I guess I'll discover something.
Okay.
So let's I'm just I had something before and it completely fell out of my brain, so I'm trying to like think of it again because we've had so much stuff going on. But I'm like, yeah. I want to discover a creature.
Okay.
But it'll be a elemental creature that is mysteriously obedient to the gods without having to be I'm trying to think, without having to be coerced or paid. It's just they listen and obey the gods, so they do their will.
Okay. That works. That will count down Cap Tap the Well to 0. Was that you, Zach?
It was me. So the gods who are trying to cap and tap this well, they are successful for a time, but gods, even though they are, without their power, they can't cap infinity. And this well is infinitely deep and infinitely powerful. So all they manage to do is create like a pressure buildup of magic for a while. And then when it bursts, it does so spectacularly. The most immediate ramification is the magical barrier that I forgot about around this island that like keeps it from being spotted or navigated to is suddenly burst. And so all the mortals that have now populated this planet that didn't know that this island, which is essentially the gods' stronghold, or at least a large portion of the gods, suddenly they can see it and suddenly they can navigate to it. And furthermore, there may be further ramifications of the magic well being stoppered for a time and then bursting.
Okay. I love that. And I believe that makes it Tegan's turn.
Yay! Okay, draw a card. What'd I get? Oh.
This round is scary because it's like, is it going to be the king? Are we all
I know.
done?
It is the king of spades.
Oh, shit.
Well, you have good timing. The king of spades.
I didn't get to do the thing I wanted to do. Damn it.
The era ends. The game is over. All projects that were in process effectively linger as the end of the era comes. At the end of the final era, the gods are struggling, as you can well see. The new
I
races
was
they have
going to give you
discovered.
elemental magic.
The new gods that you have discovered, the new mortals that have been discovered in this world are trying to find ways to circumnavigate around these new people that are here, these mortals that are here. The mortals have been given the ability to access divine power, but the well at the center of this world begins to expand. And as it does, there is a discovery that well, the power that is drawn from it, the only arcane power that can be drawn in this world without a material substance, is tainting those who've been using it. And at the same time that they begin to discover this, smaller wells open up around the world. One was discovered earlier underneath this mountain, and they begin to pop up all over the plane of existence. And out of those wells come monsters the likes of which they have never seen, starting a war of planes. The world above and the world below collide as the planes have stacked on top of each other, and a hole has just been punched through from one to the other, and monsters spill out. And as a result, champions have to come up and fight against this. Each of you will create heroes, characters, maybe even jokesters, but some type of a character in the wake of a world that has just finished the 100-year war against the world below. The world is going to begin recouping and restructuring and reforming, and each of you will have the ability to create characters in this world after 100 years of battling has finished. And the world is now somewhat finding stability again. And that is where we'll pick up next time. In 2 weeks, we will have, each of you will have your characters created, and we will start playing our new game.
Nice.
Woohoo.
Awesome.
Damn.
I pulled that king right at the right time.
I know, it's like right at our time to stop. I love that.
Also, I just want to say, I thought you were saying cat tap the well.
I've had to change so many things because of what y'all have done. It's crazy. I'm going to move us to a new scene, which we just call like the wrap-up scene, which has our chat featured, and it's just us talking. There's no more map. And so if you guys, we're just going to hang out for a few minutes. Technically, this is where we would end the stream, so we'll add like an end section here to the podcast. But we're going to hang out for just a few minutes and kind of decompress and talk about what just happened. And like, you guys get to create characters, so you get to kind of think about what they look like and what they're going to be and who they're going to be like in this like reflected world that will be so different from the world you've created, or will it be very heavily influenced by that world. So I want to hear y'all's thoughts.
I can't wait.
Does anyone know what class they're going to play?
Ooh.
No.
I'm terrified of all of them.
Not sure yet.
I
I
will
have a
say,
vaguish idea.
before we did this, my plan was to be a paladin. But with all of this stuff up here, I've really got to rethink like all of it. Like I might still do that, but it's in a normal game. That's what my plan was. But we've got so much that I'm like, I want to know, especially since I guess magic now is really kind of going to be a little different.
I like
normal.
the interesting
Paladin of
things
the
that we've done
Breton.
with magic. I might do something in the like wizardy realm.
I was thinking warlock.
Yeah, warlocks have an interesting,
I was
possibility.
going to go
with,
celestial warlock, I think, though.
especially with
You know, it
kind of
might
how
be.
like magic is functioning. This arcane magic being, divine magic being borrowed from the gods, and arcane magic having to come from either a resource or this like well that is tainted is like a really interesting.
How would a druid do in this environment?
I mean,
If
I
they're
think-
borrowing magic from the gods, it would make sense that the nature gods have also gifted certain elements.
Well, and that's my
Like-
thought. It's like there's so many scarcities, and it's like, would they thrive in this environment or would they struggle? It's like,
It
What do you
might
think
be a
about this?
case of those that are especially good survive and thrive. Like there are no mediocre druids.
And yeah, and they'd be exceptionally sought after as like to create the prosperity of a town, because they would provide food, etc., etc.,
Mm-hmm.
enriching the land.
I'm gonna.
Oh my god, what happened to the snow people in the end? Their land was
We
flooded.
don't know. We'll have to find out when we play.
Lost our fertility before we could bang them.
God bless them.
But yeah, we'll have a redrawn map. I'm going to create some, obviously some story beats and some maps alongside your characters. I will give you kind of a rough idea of what we're going to do. I have a few ideas to kind of like bring your party together and have a reason for each of you to be in contact with one another. Like I said, there will be relative stability and peace because I don't want to start you off in just like barren, crazy world right after this war starts. It will actually be right after the war ends, and there's like some commerce kind of starting again to give you access to like a real, some kind of a real world.
Cool.
Yeah.
Would you be able to put, are you going to, presumably, like we were just talking about the magic thing, are there going to be mechanical effects of some of the choices that we made? Like, are
So-
arcane magic users going to need some kind of an extra resource?
So yes and no. And I think because we're playing the 2024 rules, I think unless we build our own subclasses for some of these, which is that's an option if someone wants to consider something like that, then we might talk about that. But outside of that, I'm just going to assume like if you're a wizard, you tell me where your power comes from, right? Like is it from the well? Is there like a narrative reason you have to be careful about how often you tap it? Is or do you resonate with the sentient crystals? Do you have to be mindful not to pull too much of its power? You'll harm it. Like, I'm going to let you guys kind of determine what you want your power to be, where it comes from, what the source is. Some of you may not want to be aligned with gods. There will be certain boons that come with being aligned with certain gods because they are going to have as you can probably imagine, like amassing a lot of gods, or gods amassing like larger and larger groups of mortals makes them more and more powerful.
Yeah.
And so they like worship in this world is going to be incredibly important to them, and it more transactional than it would be in any normal world where, it's maybe more about like following a certain number of tenets. In this case, it's more about like, hey, I need enough people to feed this town, or I need enough people to fight this battle, or maybe it's like an evil god and they're like, I need enough people to, go steal resources from other people. There are so many reasons you could, have to kind of do that.
I think I'd be
What
terrified
level
to
are our
worship
characters
any
gonna
gods in this setting.
Yeah,
Go
'cause,
ahead,
like when
Erin,
you say
please.
you needed people to feed, I'm just thinking about y'all farming people again.
I was kind of specifically thinking about like there are spells that create food and water, but at the same time, like there's also the ominous threat of that of like, are they then just being hooked up and they're turned into batteries of like, make us food or you die?
Yeah. And I'm sure that those places probably exist because obviously, unfortunately, society starts to crumble once stresses are put upon it. So
Yeah.
I do also like the fact that the chat has actually given a name to the brat god, cat god.
What would they call him?
According to the chat, his name is Lucifer Sphinx.
Oh my god.
I really like that.
And I mean, there's things like that where like if you wanted to say you're a god of, or you're like a divinity wizard, like maybe your divinity, your ability to divine things out comes from the cat, like create whatever power source you want, right? And we can make custom races and custom subclasses and classes if we need to. My most interested part is like, when this entire world is faced with a common enemy, and all of these creatures from across all these planes, many of which may have been enemies prior, angels and demons and all of that, how do they all come together in a world where pragmatism is more important than morality? You know, they have to function as a society. This is the only plane of existence now. They have nowhere else to go, and all of them can die except for the gods. So they have to figure out a way to like function together, and that kind of builds an interesting question around like, how does that function? You know, how do demons and angels get along, knowing that they need, you know, these gods to give them powers, and they need to like, they have a common enemy they have to fight.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, with morality being a secondary quandary, what does that mean for like the hells and like purgatorious punishment rate planes and things like this?
Right. What even happens when you die if there's only one plane?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. It builds a lot of questions.
It's going to be a very, very interesting scope.
Mm-hmm.
I see mysteries are afoot. Jinkies.
And again, one thing I think is really important to me, I will give you a basic framework for how we will start the game. I think I have an idea that I want to lean into, but I want to save that just for our group, and I'll let the people will find out as we find out, or as we start playing.
Keep the chat guessing.
Yeah. But I think the like, I lost my entire train of thought. I'm tired.
Welcome to my world.
But there's the benefit of like this kind of new way of us forming together and fighting, and like, what will that look for? But the main thing I was going to say is that my primary focus is that there is a meta narrative, and there is each of your own characters' lives and narratives, right? So whereas some people consider like a character piece like a side quest, each of you I want deeply plugged into the world in a way that matters. And it doesn't have to be readily apparent immediately, but like for you to have a reason to exist in this world over time is going to become important. And that's something I pride myself on always being able to find. I've had people come to me and just say like, I'm a druid, I don't know, he's a halfling, it's fine. And then like by the end of it, like he's reconnected with his estranged son, and like has this whole like, I want to develop the world around you as much as you were developing within the world. So all that in mind, I'm excited to see what you guys want to create.
Now, we're kind of going off, sorry, Zach, the new 2024 kind of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Is there any new classes that come with that?
Not yet. I will, if you want to play one of the one of the new classes they plan to add, I will allow it. One of them is called the Illrigger, I think is what it's called. Which is basically like an anti-paladin. Like it's similar to a paladin, but they draw their power from demons and devils.
Cool.
Oh, I was thinking atheist.
Yeah, I mean, and you could totally just be like, they hate the gods, so they draw power from their ire of the, like, again, your source of power is kind of your own, but there's another one that I don't remember the name of. Does anyone know? They've announced it, but I can't remember. Okay. There's another new one.
I have no idea.
That's
So.
cool.
Yeah. I'm cutting out. Can y'all hear me?
What I was going to say is at some point between now and Friday the 10th, I will do what I had said I was going to do. 24 rules. That'll probably just make as like videos to put out on the YouTube.
I have to, I'm going to need to disconnect our Discord and come back. It is like, I'm not sure if it's my internet or something, but we are something's going wrong. So I think with that, we'll just say bye to our audience. Y'all have a great night. Thank you so much for listening to us. We'll be back again in 2 weeks with characters playing in this world, and we will kind of, I think, preview that with a few things as we get closer to it. Thank you all so much for hanging with us. 10 to 15 people hanging out that long is crazy to me, but I always appreciate it so much. So thank you all so much for being here.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.